Hi, I'm Lori. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making Ayurveda sambar. This is a very traditional South Indian sambar, and the secret to this tasty dish is slowly roasting our own spice blend. Rather than buying one from the store like everybody else, we've got our own special spice mix. This is an extra step that's definitely worth it, and your friends and family are actually going to love this dish. Now let's take a look at our ingredients. Okay, let's get started with our sambar ingredients. The first thing we want to do is dry roast our spices. Now, the main thing that you want to be sure of is that you keep it at a low, constant flame. This is the most time-consuming part of the whole thing, but it's worth it. If you try to do it too fast, you're going to burn some of the ingredients and the other ones won't get properly roasted. So this is a very important technique. Just low flame, and it'll take usually an hour and a half or 2 hours. You don't have to stand over it constantly, but you will want to take the time to do this. We'll add our fenugreek seeds, our cumin seeds, our urad dal, our chana dal, coriander seeds, and our dried red chilies. And what we want to do is just slowly let the flame roast the seasonings. Just kind of make sure they're all in the bottom of the pan evenly. And you don't have to stand over this. You can go watch the kids, watch TV, whatever you want to do. Just check on it from time to time, stir it, make sure everything's browning properly. You can also use a little bit of oil. That's not required. It will slowly roast on its own, but you want to make sure that the urad dal gets slightly brown. Your other spices will become brown too. Also, at this point, you can add 5 of your curry leaves, or you don't have to. You can actually put them in when you start beginning the lentil portion. So just keep cooking these till they're nicely browned, and then we're ready for the next step. Okay, and here we are. Our masalas are nicely roasted. The curry leaves are nice and crunchy. The chilies are nice and crunchy. Everything's properly browned. You can actually make this up in a larger batch, just triple, quadruple the quantity, and keep it, and you won't have to do this step every time you get ready to make the sambar. So at this time, we'll let this cool. Now that they're dry roasted, we let it cool, and then we'll grind it in our spice grinder, and that will be the powder for our sambar. Our next step is to take 2 tablespoons of oil, put in a pan over medium heat, and then we want to add our mustard seeds and our curry leaves. I like to add the curry leaves first, but stand back because it will pop. When you add the mustard seeds, you want them to start popping, and once they start popping, then you can add the onions. And we have 1 cup of green onion and half a cup of red onion that we'll be adding. Once your onion starts to fry, the next step, the easiest thing is to take your chana dal. 1 cup of chana dal. Mix it, if you're cooking in the pressure cooker, usually about 4 cups of water. And at least you want to make sure you have enough water in there that The pressure cooker has a nice amount, and it's not too short of water. Also, tamarind. The tamarind needs to be cooked in hot water for 3 to 4 minutes. You can either do that on the stove top or in the microwave. But while the onions are cooking, this is about the size tamarind you need. It's slightly gummy. You put this with 1 1/4 cup of water and boil it 3 to 4 minutes, or put it in the microwave 3 to 4 minutes. And when that's done, let it cool, and then you'll strain it. And I'll show you what that looks like when we get ready to add that in. You just want to fry the onion until it becomes a little translucent. You don't want it to brown too much. One thing I do want to mention for people that are not familiar with Indian cooking, when a recipe calls for curry leaves, the fresh green curry leaves, if you can't find those available at an Indian store or Asian market, don't try to substitute curry powder for the fresh curry leaves. It is not the same thing. It is not even close. In American grocery stores, they sell this curry powder, and it's a mixture of mostly turmeric with some other spices, coriander, pepper, all these things. But that is not any kind of substitution for fresh curry leaves. So if those curry leaves are not available, just omit them out of the recipe. Just leave them completely out, because you can't get close to the taste of curry leaf by using the curry powder. Okay, now we're going to switch pans, because you need a deeper pan once you add the vegetables, the dal that's already cooked, and the water that you have to add to it. So we're just transferring our onions into the pan. Next, we will add our turmeric powder, our red chili powder, coriander powder, and we will add potato, carrot, and brinjal or eggplant. You just want to cook these for probably 3 or 4 minutes, just to kind of get the process going on cooking the vegetables, the potatoes and the carrots mostly. They'll finish cooking once you add the dal to it, but you just want to make sure you kind of get them a head start so it doesn't take as long to finish. So we'll just wait for those to brown. Okay, now that our vegetables have gotten a head start on cooking, we will add the sambar powder. Now this is optional, but I think it gives it just that little extra kick over the top. So add that, give it a nice stir. And then once the tamarind has cooled in the water, you want to strain it. You can either use a cheesecloth or a metal strainer. Just take a spoon and press the pulp into the strainer and get as much juice out of the tamarind pulp as you can.